What is that?
Ship.
Ship? A ship, huh?
Yeah.
Sweet Maya, did you get a new toy?
Had it, but been too busy to try and fly it, so I'm gonna try it now.
You gonna give the people what they want?
I hope so.
Can you all hear the critters? I absolutely love being in the garden in the evenings during this time of year. The sounds are fantastic. So the peas are gone, but it's a good thing we put these beans in, so now this trellis isn't completely naked. All the spaces have more beans sowed now. They'll be up before too long. Large barred boar. Black beauty. See, it's starting to get just a little blush of purple on top. Now those anthocyanins are going to be more pronounced where the sun is shining, so this fruit is kind of covered by foliage. I don't know how dark it'll be. This one's called Italian Heirloom, and I'm really liking the shape of it. Very heart-shaped. And as you can see here, these are neat looking. White tomasol. It's very flat. I like those. Oh guys, look here. This is the first fruit to come up on my competition tomato plant for the tomato grow off. I've got one here. Got several blossoms looking pretty big. Pretty excited about that. Doing this tomato grow off with Callie, Kim, and Gary from the Rusted Garden, and I am super pumped to see the first fruits set on my competition plants. Also, so I gotta go grab my pruners to get this off, but this okra is ready to harvest. These Texas Hill Countries are a little on the squatty side and bigger around, but really tasty. And I've actually got quite a few ready to come off. Oh, and look at these. These are the fruits on the Painted Lady variegated tomato. I love the little tip on the end. It's got a little tail. I've got some work to do out here. After the rain and storms yesterday, a lot of my tomato plants are laying all over the place. They just have these massive growth spurts when it rains, and they end up sprawled out all over the place, falling off the trellises. This weekend is gonna hold some gardening for me. These ladies are not supposed to be out here, and this is way too close for comfort. Do not want you girls in the garden. We do not typically keep this shut because the animals are not supposed to be able to get to it. There's a hole in the fence over there, and Maya put the girls in the side yard to mow the grass down and must not have realized that the thing he usually keeps in front of the hole is gone. But they're actually not gonna get into anything right here, and it's about to be dark, so they'll go back through the hole to get back to their barn. But I definitely don't want them in the garden. They can do a lot of damage in a little bit of time. Clover, are you a wild child wandering? We really haven't dealt with just a whole lot of... Oh, they just got the drone up. We haven't dealt with a lot of issues with our goats getting out of fences because we have pretty good fences. We have been here for 5 years, and some of the fences are starting to get a little bit old. They need a little bit of work. But as far as people saying, oh, goats are awful, you can't keep them contained, that hasn't really been our experience. There are a few things like this, but there's a gaping hole in the fence at this point. That's really not them being mischievous. There's a hole. They're going to go through it. That's on us. However, one really big benefit that we experience with our goats is that they're very tame and they're very used to us, and they would literally follow us to the end of the earth if we were shaking a feed bucket. So it won't be an issue getting them back up. They'll most likely head that way in about 10 minutes because it's getting dark anyway. But if by some chance they don't, we'll just grab a feed bucket and lead them back up to the barn. There's the drone, you see it? There's all these men folk underneath it. Let's go say hi. Y'all look at these beautiful bean blossoms. Pretty purple beans coming up. Ezra, what are you doing?
Look! Daddy's finding one!
There it is.
Spying on you!
He's spying on me? Why do you think he's doing that?
Because Cam was on his controller. Because his controller has his phone hanging on it. So he can see.
Do you think that's cool?
The eye of his drone.
The eye of his drone?
Yeah, the eye. Like his phone is the eye of his drone.
Are you excited?
It's so cool.
I love camera stuff, but the drone and the GoPro and all of that, that's Jeremiah's toys for sure. What do y'all think?
That's so cool. This is the front view. What do you see up there?
Look at this pretty place. I love how lit up it looks at night. These elephant ears are growing so fast. Y'all look how full and lush my green stalks are getting. Aren't they pretty? Y'all remember this variegated vinca that we got when we went to the nursery and I took you guys with me? This is actually a painted lady tomato that I stuck in here on a whim before our last frost was up. Look how big it's gotten. So far it hasn't needed any sort of support, but I might have to stick a stake down in since it is growing in the green stalk. I was really kind of trying to push the limits of this thing, and like this is a mint, which is obviously super invasive, but I wanted to see what it would do, and it's got these trailing vines that are going all over, and I just wanted to see what would happen by putting that in there. Of course, I've got mixes of different annuals, which I just picked up at a local nursery, as well as some herbs. Like here's some sage that I stuck in here. This is obviously a lettuce that I started in the greenhouse. This kale got fairly ravaged by some sort of little worm, and I was too busy babying the kale in the beds. I didn't even think to check on this. Overall, I think though these look really, really good. And I've got them on rollers so I can turn them around and make sure everything is getting its fair share of sun. Here my peppers are looking okay. I'd really like to get them all planted. I think they're all getting about to the point that they can handle it. Some of them are just tiny and they've stayed tiny. The Mexican sour gherkin cucumbers, cucamelons that I started out here, they're starting to do well. I'll probably go ahead and move this little guy out there soon, and these others are coming up. They'll shoot up pretty fast. The greenhouse is just about done being used. I'm finishing out these peppers and stuff, but it's averaging like 110 degrees in here every day because it's about 90 outside. Now I've planted the elephant ears on the side so that they'll get big and full and offer some shade, and I will store stuff in here with the door open, with the venting windows, because anything that I store in here is obviously going to need to be able to handle the heat. Like I've got my rue aprons out here, and they are looking kind of significantly lighter in color from being out here in the sun. You can see that. And so I'm kind of keeping that in mind with some of the stuff I've got out here. If I don't want it sun bleached, I might need to move it inside. Obviously the tools are fine. I've got all these trays out here that I'm going to stick up underneath where they're not sitting in direct sunlight. And I will start to use this again around October. I will grow like greens in here over the winter. I'm very curious about how much I'm going to be able to heat this. My other greenhouse I've never grown just a lot in during the winter because it's very drafty. However, this thing it holds heat big time. So if I can run a little heater in here in the winter, I could very well grow some stuff all winter long. And that idea is pretty exciting to me, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. What are you doing? Are you scaring the horses with the drone?
No. It'll be like, is it bringing food?
Let me see. Oh my goodness. It's the next morning. This is my cousin's kid, Ryan. Say hi, Ryan. You say hi? He's not quite used to the camera yet. Can you get down? I obviously ran out of daylight last night. It got dark while I was filming.
What's that?
That's a tomato. And I was showing you guys the different varieties of tomatoes that were growing in the garden, but it didn't show you two of my favorites. Here are the Paul Robesons.
One.
Aren't they looking good?
That.
I'm really excited to eat those. Dr. Weich. Or as I've pronounced it for years, Witchy.
That one too. That one too.
That's a tomato. It's honestly really hard not to just show you guys every little thing as it pops up throughout the week. And then I'm like, I'm not going to have anything to show in my garden tours if I do that. But there are a couple of things in the garden that I'm really excited to show you.
What's that making sound?
What?
What's that making sound?
What's that making sound? It's a wind chime. Hey, look, Ryan, look who's here to visit.
That's a cat.
Yeah, that's Kitten George.
I love it.
You love it? So I'm down in the garden this morning looking around and just thinking about being on the brink of just the most rewarding time of the year. And you know, here in just a few weeks, every single morning I'll come down here with a knife and a salt box and eat breakfast. I will just eat straight out of the garden, tomatoes and cucumbers and raw okra. This is just so rewarding and it's so beautiful, and I literally just want to live my entire days of summer just right here enjoying this. It's so wonderful. I was thinking about this a little while ago. I was just sitting here looking around and I was thinking about like what to say to you guys, because obviously I'm talking to you. I love sharing this with you. It's my favorite. I love getting to share this stuff with you. But do you know that like actually in actuality, I'm actually very introverted as a person, and a lot of people don't realize that when they just see these videos, because you're getting the impression of just like a very connected and animated person, which I am those things. Introverts can definitely be personable and friendly. Like, that's a misunderstanding. It's just it takes a lot out of an introvert to be connected with a lot of people and be in very social situations. And the thing with all of that is that there's one thing that I don't really get to share with you through vlogging, and that is the fact that my favorite way to enjoy the garden with my friends and those that I get to bring into this space and share with it is I just love to sit in silence. And I think I touched on that a little bit the other morning when I shot the vlog after the storm, and just kind of showing you guys what I was looking at without having to explain it. But like sometimes I just feel like I want to come and shoot an entire vlog with no words to really give you the feel of what I experience in this space, which is just kind of like a really holy hush, I guess. You like him?
It's got ears.
He's got ears? Yeah, he does. In other news, do y'all like my shoes that I got for $2 thrifting yesterday? Hey Ryan, we both have blue shoes. We're Twinkies. Twinsies. He's over me. Ben, are you teaching Ryan about gardening?
Yeah.
Yeah?
What's that?
What are you going to teach him? Ben, do you know that Ryan wants to be just like you? It is a beautiful garden. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. God bless you. Until next time.